So today we talk with Keith Albury of Simplified Lending, also an agent with Dow Warner Realty, about the stimulus money. How do I get some of that? I own a small business. I have employees. I have expenses. I need some of that money. So how do I do it? What is the application process? Where do I apply?
You are now listening to
The AFL brand.
You don't get it. Keith Albury, who is joining us, and again, one of our agents at the company, is wearing two hats. As someone who is a mortgage broker with one hat and a real estate agent on the other hat. And so I wanted to get him on the line because he is the mortgage brokerage hat is connected with a company called Simplified Lending, and that has been one of the approved lenders for a lot of the incentives and programs that the government has put in place since the outbreak of coronavirus, the lockdown, and so forth. So we wanted to get Keith on and talk from a number of perspectives. Number one, how is the banking sector, based on his speculation, based on his experience in the market, going to be affected? How does someone apply for these packages? Who can benefit from them? How does people who own small businesses apply? What is the application process? If I had a transaction that was pending now, what happens with that based on what's going on with the bank and blah, blah, blah. Let's get into it right now. Keith, thanks for joining me, bro. How you doing?
I am great, man. I'm great. Hanging in there. So, safe and healthy, that's the most important things right now.
Yeah, for sure. And how's the family staying busy? So you, your wife, your son, everybody's at home, yes?
Everybody's at home because my wife and daughter are both, well, they work for the same company, which is in the tourism industry. So they've basically been, I guess you could consider it, laid off for the time being.
Right.
Of course, I also have a tour business, and that's basically closed
Yeah.
because there's no tourist. But yeah, we're all home and we're coping. I mean, I must say one thing, it's brought us closer together.
Yeah.
Going through that normal routine of getting up in the morning, going to work, dealing with your stress at work, coming home, and that's it. We've actually spent more time together than we've spent in the last few years. So I guess that's the benefit. We haven't driven each other crazy yet. So
yeah. I'm about to write a post today on my blog talking about the things I love about coronavirus, and I know that's kind of a funny line there, but there are some silver linings to this dark cloud. It's given us an opportunity to kind of slow our pace a bit, and really kind of smell the coffee, really get perspective on the things that are really important in life. Connect with family and kind of reevaluate and reset, as it were, a forced reset.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, Keith. Let's talk about the state of the financial market as best as you could briefly. Let's start there.
Yeah. Well, as we should know, I mean, most of the banks have closed down a number of branches, especially the ones downtown, because nobody's really in town. All the stores are closed. So I guess they figured, that's the one option that they chose. Staff, from what I understand, are on shifts. They're only working half days anyway. So they're trying to limit, I guess, the exposure of their staff to people who they can have work from home or working from home, especially, I guess, the lending officers. We, as a company with Simplified Lending, we're mostly dealing with the Small Business Development Center loans now. And that's basically for small businesses who have staff who want to continue to pay their staff and kind of, well, not stay open, but at least remain, not close their doors and send staff home unemployed. The focus of the Small Business Development Center loans are to keep staff on a payroll. Sorry, a big truck passing by my house.
Yeah.
The joys of working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the main thing is they want to, but one of their requirements is that you have to keep at least 51% of your staff employed and on full pay. That's one of the things you have to do in order to qualify for the loans. The response has been enormous. And then, it's just, getting the approval is one thing, and then getting the approval to disperse the funds is another thing, especially with incorporated companies. There's a lot of legal aspects. So it's been a little bit frustrating, but we're getting there. It's a little bit of growing pains going through this that just launched the end of March. So, we've been kind of developing procedures and policies as we go.
Yeah.
And, we have to make sure that, for one, that, yes, you want to get the loans approved, get them booked, get the funds dispersed to the clients, but you also want to make sure you're putting the clients in a place where they can actually repay these loans.
Right.
Because it is going to be part of their credit history. It is going to be filed with the credit bureau.
Right.
So this could affect your credit worthiness going forward in anything you do as a company and as an individual.
And so just to be clear, these are not grants. These are not, this is money you need to pay back.
This is money you need to pay back. Now, they do have a portion that they introduced as a grant, which could only be used towards your salaries.
Okay.
So, for example, if you get approved for an $80,000 loan, you can get up to $20,000 of that as salaries, as a grant. So what might happen is you apply for $80,000, but then you end up with a $60,000 loan because $20,000 of it was actually given to you as a grant that you do not have to repay.
Right.
So the loan of $60,000 you would repay, the grant of $20,000 you would not have to repay.
Right. So
now I know. Go ahead.
Well, you go first.
Okay. Now I know the response to this has been enormous. I think they're looking at trying to put some more money into these funds because based on the applications, not the approvals as yet, the total of the applications that's been done, they've already exceeded what they allotted.
Wow.
And that's just adding up.
What the original allocation was?
Well, for the loans, it was 20 million.
And
for the grant, it was 5. So a total of 25 million was allotted. And just based on the applications that they have that were submitted, not approved as yet, they just added up what was submitted so far. They're way over that 25 million.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're looking at putting more into it. And I mean, some of the stories we've seen from people who've been able to continue to pay their staff and keep their business going and pay their bills. I mean, people saying they've been brought to tears and they weren't able to sleep before. Now they can sleep at least a little bit for a few months, something like that. It's really, I must commend the government, not FNM or PLP or DNA. I must commend the government for really jumping on this fast and really, trying to help people out. It's really saved a lot of people's jobs.
Yeah.
And save their sanity, to be honest with you.
Right. So let's talk very briefly about the application process and specifically who applies. So let's look at a couple sectors of business ownership. So I have a small business. I have less than 10 employees. I have a limited company. Can I apply?
Yes, you could be trading as, you could be an incorporated company, a partnership. It doesn't matter what type of business it is. Once you have your valid license, but yeah, it doesn't matter. And the main thing is you can have 2 employees or 20 employees. The main thing is they want to see where you're paying salaries still. You're keeping your people employed, and I think it's kind of also allowing them to. Allowing you to pay the salary, and then they don't have to go in and claim unemployment from NIB.
Right. So just to be clear about this now, so I'm taking out a loan and essentially continuing to pay people while my business is not operating?
Correct. Now, one of the benefits of the loan, there's no payments for the first 4 months. So it's not like you're going to start paying right away. Their intention is that they're hoping within 4 months that we're back to normal or somewhat back to normal. And and people can afford to pay that. There's no payment, there's no penalty for early payment. So you get back in business and everything is flourishing again, and you get the lump sum, you can pay it off right away, you're fine.
What kind of interest rate am I paying on this money?
5%, up to 5 years. We recommend that people take the 5-year term. That is the lowest payment. So, and again, there's no penalty for early paying off. There's no fees attached. You're only going to pay that 5% interest onto the amount that you borrow. There's no type of closing costs, no type of fees. Us as a lender, we don't get any fees from the government or the client. The government pays us something else that comes from out of the loan, that comes from the interest.
I got you. Okay, so so I'm just trying to think about this from a business owner perspective now. So let's go best case scenario, or the scenario that's been presented, 4 months we're back in operation. So I wasn't able to do any business for this 4 months, nor did the employees. They weren't punching time. They weren't generating any activity. They weren't doing any work for the company. Do I now dock their pay? Do I now give them half pay when we're back in full operation to compensate for this? How would I subsidize this loss of income? And again, I'm not asking you to have the answer to this, but your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to want you to dock their pay. The main reason they're doing this is to keep people on a salary so they can pay their bills. It's basically a loan the business is taking on to basically stay in business and to still be operational once all these lockdowns and stuff have been lifted and you can actually go back and operate. You're actually doing this to try to save your business. Pay salaries, pay your monthly expenses. The government's not just going to give you this money in your hand. You're going to have to show where they're going to give you a portion up front once the loan has been approved. You're going to get 50% of the money up front to pay salaries, pay any utilities, any rent, insurance, whatever it is that you need to pay for your company, so that you don't fall behind in those payments as well. And then once you've done that, to get the second part of them, you have to actually show proof that you paid these bills in order to get the next stipend from that loan amount.
Right.
Again, the main thing is they're looking at businesses, of course, that are profitable. I mean, we can't tell that with everybody. Not everybody does financials, but there is a vetting process. I'm thinking most of the people who are going to apply are going to be approved. The government doesn't want to decline anybody, but again, it has to be legitimate.
Yeah.
accessaccelerator.org. And it'll outline the whole program details for you. It gives you basically the amounts they allot for each business is based on your gross revenues for the year.
Okay. So just for clarity, I want to emphasize this point. If you have a small business and you need money to maintain expenses, to pay salaries, to make sure that you're in business when this all is over, Keith, give us the website, spell it out for us that are a little bit bad with spelling. Go ahead and spell that out for us, please.
You acting like I'm good with spelling, but anyway. I'll do it for you. It's Access Accelerator, ACCELERATOR.org. Once you start the application process, you will get to a point where you have to pick the lender you want to choose.
Who should we pick?
Simplified lending, of course.
Yeah.
Once you pick that, then your application would drop in the portal for us to see it, and it asks you for your contact information. One of our lenders will contact you and let you know exactly what you would need. The site does ask you to upload upload a few items.
What are the other documents that you would need for consideration and application as best you know?
Well, they want two government IDs. Passport is a requirement, preferably. Passport, driver's license, or voter's card. They want a recent utility bill in your name. You can also upload your business license or the email you would have gotten for the approval of your business license. And then if you have any VAT filings, which basically is if you were making over 100,000 a year, you should have been paying VAT, and you would have had to file those filings with Inland Revenue, and they want those for the year because we will need those for the year.
What about payroll?
Yeah, any documentation you can provide with that is fine. But again, once you can attach the basic stuff they're asking from you on the site, that's fine. Because then once we get your name in our portal and we contact you, we'll let you know everything we need. And it depends whether it's an incorporated company or a sole proprietorship or trading as company.
Okay.
So it will differ depending on the type of company you have.
Yeah.
Of course, with an incorporated company, there's a lot more documentation needed.
Right.
Because of all the legal aspects. And then even though you do that application process online with them, we do have to do our own applications, which are pretty simple and basic, that we will take from you over the phone and then let you know what all we need from you as far as any additional documentation that you can email.
Yeah. All right, Keith, well, you have a great day. Again, I appreciate your contributions here, and we'll catch up soon.
Not a problem. Take care, Matt, and all the best to you and your family.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Thank you. Take care.